All right, today we've got a pretty interesting episode because, hey, I've got a guest. I actually talked to somebody for once in my life. But this is a podcast where we end up going over a software solution called LiveSwitch. And what we end up doing is really showcasing and talking about the implications and possibilities of this. Now, I don't lightly do this stuff. I do it when it interests me, right? LiveSwitch is so stinking fast to get a human in front of another human that there's a lot of implications and a lot of possibilities around how this can help lift up your business and make you stickier for your prospects. So listen in and learn something new and consider how a piece of software can be used within your business. You might have to work some stuff around it if you decide to go this route, but it's always good to know what the possibilities are when it comes to being human in your marketing. So with that in mind, let's get rolling and talk to James Hatfield.
The Mammoth Plumber podcast, Tyler Williams on the mic. He's dropping marketing gold, making your business like.
All right, James, just to start us out, I want you to just give us the frame of this solution. Like, it's a software solution, but it's got some use cases. And so let's start by just having you explain what it is so people have immediate context.
Yeah, it's super simple, right? So nowadays, somebody goes to Google, they look for a 5-star review, they want something fixed. So what do? They call you on the phone or go to your website, put in the form, I need an estimate, and historically we just call. And what's going on? And I'll be out there tomorrow, or I'll be out there next week. Well, welcome to the age of Amazon, where everything happens now. I want it now. Because haven't you had it happen where you book someone to go out even the next day? You talk to the person on the phone, I'll be out there tomorrow to take a look at the issue. And by the time you call them up, before you hop in the truck, you say, I'm on my way. And say, oh, never mind, I've already got somebody working on it. Because they just went down the list of Google, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now what you can do is just send a text. There's no apps needed. They can just tap on the text, boop, and you instantly can see them and they can see you, and it's tuned up for third-party remote assistance, and they can walk you around and show you the problem. Because aren't they always so good at telling you the problem? No. They don't know what they're talking about.
So just to recap, like, it is a very easy to use, easy to implement video conferencing, like, platform that does more than just video conferencing, which we'll get to, but it allows people to just instantly connect to somebody on the other end, live person, in order to gather information. Of course, that's going to be a huge deal, but also there's a human element instantly, like, and that's where me as a marketer, I'm like, hey, cool, right? Human element instant, which starts developing connection between company and prospect, right? So,
exactly.
Okay. So how did you, like, can you give me a little bit of the history of, like, how you got here? Like, what prompted you to do this?
Well, I never intended to. Okay. But my background is
Yeah.
my background. So I ran a painting company and a power washing company for many years. Ended up going back to school. I felt like, hey, I don't really understand my numbers. Like, the bookkeeper's giving me stuff. I'm not quite on tune. I start hiring a bunch of people, and I'm like, crap, I need to, like, figure out how to take care of these folks. Like, you go and you learn how to paint the house, or you learn how to be a plumber or electrician, right? And then you become a business owner. And it's just a big jump from going to, maybe just fixing whatever you're fixing to running the company. So not that everyone has to go back to university, but I did. I was like, all right, I'm going to have my companies put me to school. And so what ended up happening is when I graduated, one of my partners now, he had a landscaping company. He was finishing his degree at Duke, his MBA. And we identified a problem where people couldn't understand their financial statements from the bookkeeper. So we created a technology that you can put them into the system, and out would pop a layman's report. Hey, this is how you're doing, and this is how you compare to others. And so let's try to sell this thing. So we did. And we ended up being one of the fastest growing companies in the US for 3 years, Inc. 500. And it's a multi-billion-dollar company now.
Man.
Incredible. And
not what you thought you'd be doing when you were in grade school?
No. I only thought I'd be in the trades because that's where I come from. That's what my parents and my grandparents' dream was for me. My dad wanted me to be a plumber, and my grandfather wanted me to paint the highway. Is what he wanted me to paint the lines on the highway. That was his big dream for me, which is great. I mean, that's all let me paint houses first, and then we can work on the highways next. So I never intended to do the financial technology company, but we sold it. And they're like, well, we started getting into philanthropy. We did inmates to entrepreneurs. We still do that. Hundreds and thousands of men and women who are incarcerated go through our programs. We teach them how to run a business.
Oh, that's cool.
And we were like, hey, let's do something else. So we bought a company this time rather than starting from scratch. We bought this company 4 years ago, 16-year-old company, and it was a live video company. It's called WebRTC. That's the nerdy talk for it. But I had never intended for us to go back into the trades. But what happened, and we power all kinds of cool experiences. Like if you go to MLB ballpark and watch baseball and you scan a QR code and they put you on the Jumbotron, that's our stuff. So we do all this cool stuff. And I got a virtual knock on the door from the chief of police in Washington, D.C. to reinvent the 911 phone call. It's called Next Gen Policing. And so we got to work and we created a platform where they could just send a text and you tap it and you instantly connect. Because in an emergency situation, you have no time to download anything. You can't remember your own phone number. You need something you can, and when you're compromised, tap it, up pops the video, and that live video goes from the citizen's phone right to the police car, fire truck, or emergency medical. It's called situational awareness. And so they can see what they're driving into. Well, the natural question is, well, who else could benefit from this? And I meet this guy of all places in the moving industry, like moving boxes. He's like, I'm telling him the same story I'm telling you right now. He's like, you have no idea what you're sitting on, like what you have. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, we'll just use this for virtual estimates so I don't have to drive out in the truck anymore. And he was so right. That was a few years ago. Now I've got hundreds and hundreds of companies that use this every day, not just for virtual estimates. We'll talk more about that, but that's where it came from. No, we didn't intend, but now I'm back to my roots. And I feel like, why didn't we do this in the beginning? Like, why didn't we think of this before? But we wouldn't have. Like, it's following the bouncing ball,
Okay, so now, yeah, you end up looping yourself back into the trades. And what's interesting, like, okay, so primarily my audience is plumbers, right? So we're going to take it through that lens for the purpose of this. Estimates, like, yeah, estimates are huge. Like, show me what's going on or what you have, right? So, like, estimates seem like the first use case of this thing. What other like simple use cases do you see like tradesmen using this for? We'll go into the cool stuff a little bit later, but I want to know like what's sort of like the baseline. Like,
Yeah.
Hey,
So
what everyone kind of uses.
yeah, well, they start off using the text to connect because we can train anyone on your team in 5 minutes. Like literally, you can use it the same day. It's easy. Like that's the whole goal. Like I know my customers and I know my staff. No one wants to learn complicated stuff, and customers have no time for that. So everything had to be dead simple. So that's the first way. And it also gets used operationally. Like think the senior tech talking to the junior tech, hey, I'm seeing something here I haven't seen for. Send me a text. Let me take a look at it. So your senior person might be on a different job site or back in the office. You're now bringing in a tool, right? Everyone carries these smartphones in their pocket now. They have 4 cameras on them. We never had them, when I was running the company, but now you do. So let's use them, right? And everything that's out there is, it's for like a FaceTime is for grandma to watch the kids blow out the candles, not to, do a professional job. Because here's the thing. When you do a FaceTime call, here's what happens. You are large. Like when your customer's looking at this, they see you large and them small, right? Well, some of us have crappy eyes. I got these big fat goggles on now because I can't see. And so if I need to be your eyes, if I'm your customer, I got to walk over to a leak or the toilet or whatever I got to do and show you, I get to see myself big and you small because I'm looking through the phone screen. And you as the plumber on the other end, you can be on a phone. I got guys that use this in truck, phone, a tablet, a computer, and you get to see it large. Sometimes even better than being in person because you can take remote photos of it. You can record the whole thing. You can share it. You can screen share, walk them through the bid, close them. And so that's just scratching the surface, though. That's just the most popular way.
Okay, hold on. You mentioned something that interests me. Walking them through the bid. So you're doing the whole, like the estimate via video. Then you're able to put the bid together right on the same device, screen share, saying, hey, customer, take a look at this. This is what we are looking at. And I imagine this whole thing is still being recorded at that point, right?
Yep.
And then, so that helps with closing.
Yeah. And the most expensive thing you do as a business owner is put your salesperson behind a truck, which is not productive at all. And they drive out in the hopes of getting the deal.
Yeah.
Or you're sending them out just to fix stuff that you could actually walk a customer through, or maybe you finished a job and You just need to reconnect real quick. Because what do we do? You did the job, you collected the cash, the customer calls, there's still a little issue. You get back in the truck, drive back out again, and just to fix something that takes you 2 minutes. It's another most expensive thing you do.
Do you so this is another thing where I like my wheels are turning. Do you have anybody who's like says, all right, cool, this is our sales guy? Like the tech goes out, they like are there helping, like, okay, here's the things that we need to look at and record and document, and then hand a device off to the customer. The sales guy is putting together the bid and everything, and then they're the ones who are tuned to be able to close that deal. Because there's a big difference between like a tech and a salesperson, usually at first, and trying to get somebody who can walk both worlds is a little complex, right?
Yeah, it's impossible to find people that can do everything, right? And so you want to put the right people on the right seats of the bus. So your tech, your plumber can show up to the job and they're good. Let's say they're just great at fixing everything, but they can't sell anything. They can't even close a door. They're like, you don't upsell. You forgot to ask this. Now that your tech can hand the customer a tablet, like just a cheap little tablet, and they click the go button and it's assigned, like if it's Johnny Plumber, and comes to the salesperson, oh, they're on Johnny Plumber's tablet. So your customer success people can say, hey, Mrs. Smith, Johnny's out there. He's taking care of the toilet today. But since he's already out there, are you having any other leaks anywhere else? Anything else we can take a look at? And oh, by the way, we have a premium membership platinum package. If you want to sign up for that, it gets you to the top of the list, saves you 5% anytime we come out. Let your salespeople sell and let your tech do the work. And so now, again, another piece of using the live video, and that's all part of our platform as well.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I've seen this in growing, like the marketing agency side, right? Like once you get certain people with certain disciplines, it allows them to reach a new level of performance that they can't when they're split between like two roles. So as companies grow and they can afford to like throw people in at certain spots, it makes a huge difference. And so like the ability for any sort of plumber to, for some of these shops to be able to say, okay, cool, this guy rocks at closing. That's all we're going to have him do, instead of like having him spend all of his time driving or, taking like notes about a setup like the whole time. Okay.
Absolutely. And that's just during work hours. What about after hours stuff?
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
When, you don't want to drive out as a salesperson at 8 o'clock at night and nobody really wants you in their house at like 8 or 9, but yet there's something leaking and they need some help. So now what you can do, they're called magnets and leave behinds. You can have QR codes at the house, or you can have what we affectionately call the video drop box, where somebody can literally 8 o'clock at night, tap a button, take a video, and they don't have to scroll through all the pictures of all their kiddos anymore, because no one likes doing that. They just hit the record button, it goes right to the cloud, and nothing is stored on the customer device or even your employees' devices. It goes to your cloud, and you can watch that video even at 2x speed, give them a call back and say, yep, I saw the video. I know exactly what's going on. Here's how much it is. And we can be out there right then. Boom, get the money. And you can take these QR codes and turn them into stickers with your branding on it. You can put these things for the toilet, like put it under the tank. Right? Put it on anything.
Or the tank. Yep.
Yeah. Put it on the garbage disposal. Put it on anywhere that you want work. These little codes, and they can scan it, take a video, and it goes out. I don't want them using any other plumber. I'm your plumber. Because what I like to do is get new customers and get repeat customers. It makes my life that much easier, and I squeeze in all the juice out of each one of my customers with these kind of solutions.
That's cool. Okay, so yeah, the QR code, everybody's leaving stickers on things, and we often find this is like they leave a sticker with the logo and a date that it was last serviced. And I'm like, where's your phone number? Like, where's your website? Where's your point of contact information? And if it were a QR code or a simple short link or whatever that immediately took somebody to a video Dropbox, essentially, that's cool. I still love the idea of putting a QR code underneath the toilet seat. Nobody's going to expect it.
Yeah, it's right there.
Like,
you're everywhere.
You like the women of the house lift up the seat to clean or deal with the clog.
That's right. Right. But I mean, you put it on any, especially those expensive water heaters or anything else, like put your logo right there. So if there's any issue, it's coming right to you. You're boxing out your competition. You're trying to get ahead of Google. Because this is what they do. They look at the problem, they go to Google. Now I want them to look at the problem, see the QR code, take the thing. I don't want Google involved at all. I don't want them seeing other plumbers near me.
Yep. I operate under sort of the idea of if you can keep your customers from circling back to Google, you get to keep that customer. Like the minute that they go to Google, even if it's to look up your name, like you're allowing them to go back into that zone where there's hundreds of plumbers. Like don't give them that opportunity. Like just say, we got you so well, you won't even need Google anymore. Right?
That's right. We got you 24/7. The issues come in, you review the video, you get back on them with live video. Faces, human connection like this, human faces, close at higher rates. It builds more trust is what's going on. Because some people in the age of AI, as good as it can be, when they're talking to a robot, they're like, oh, they're phoning in. They call your phone tree. Hey, we're out serving customers right now. Leave a message. And they try to explain what's going on. And they're terrible at that.
Yep.
You know, we have cameras now. We have used it. And it's more convenient. And it's fast. In the age of Amazon, everybody wants it now. Nobody wants to wait.
So what is this is a bit of a technical question, but I'm thinking of another use case. What's the resolution that it records up into the cloud for you?
Okay, so a couple different things. When there's no agent on the other end, it can be super high res because it doesn't require, you can even lose bandwidth. Imagine someone going down to the basement, taking a look at the water heater. Maybe there's no internet down there. They can still keep taking the video. And when they're done, it will upload, even if they get to crappy 3G internet, it'll still upload beautiful photos. And what's really cool, because we have a bunch of computer scientists, when they take the picture button, they are not taking photos of video because video quality is still, it's high, but now we can tap into those super high resolution cameras and it'll take independent stills that you can even scroll into and zoom into to get serial numbers or see cracks and things, and you can draw on the photos. So that's one piece. The resolution on live video is, going to vary based on bandwidth, right? Because I'm live looking at something. But when I take, what's cool is when I take a picture, even if the bandwidth, like I have customers in Egypt where bandwidth is crap. And so they can't, it looks like Minecraft when you're looking at the other person. It's all blocky. But they can still hit the take a picture button and it's tapping into that camera, taking a full res photo, and then sending it back into your cloud. So you can still guide them on what to take pictures on.
Okay. And that's because the uploading happens asynchronously. You don't have to have killer bandwidth all the time for that to work.
Yeah.
Well, so the use case that I think of, because you kind of mentioned it, like what drives human connection, right? It's having a face and all that. We struggle so much with trying to get our clients to facilitate testimonials. And this seems like it would be another tool in the toolbox to be able to say, hey, you know what? Grab your customers, give them this link, and just start asking these 5 questions about your service.
That's right.
It's recorded.
That's right.
It's up in the cloud. Download it, edit it. Maybe not even that. But then you can use it as advertising.
Yeah, and as you well aware, Google knows what's authentic and real and what yours fabricated. So when you put real pictures and real videos onto your Google store, you're getting organic, because Google actually does try to have good recommendations. They're trying to surface the 5-star folks with tons of ratings and tons of content. You will blow the doors off of everyone else and you won't have to pay extra money. And how do you get those videos? Put the right people in the right seats of the bus, or incentivize your team before they walk off site. After you fix it, it's already, their phone's in their pocket. They can still log, again, nothing's stored on phone. Can I take a quick video of your reaction?
Yep. Okay, so those photos also, and the other thing I think about from a marketing perspective is, what if they get a selfie with the customer? Can that go up into the LiveSwitch stuff too? And then it's just part of that whole job?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Cool. So, because the thing that I stress about this when I think about it, and I stress this to clients and I stress this to staff and everybody, is like, you have to maintain humanity no matter how good tech gets. And there's only a few instances where I go like, this tech actually facilitates the humanity being brought back in. Phone took away our faces. But what you're telling me is now you have a way to marry the two again, right? Yeah. In an easy enough way. it's huge. Like there's a reason why dogs and babies look you in the eye. That's something I say a lot. And it's because humans connect to humans. And so if you can have that, you're building instant relationship. It's such a stickier interaction than like, oh, cool, I'll send you a text message, or here's my scheduling link, which everybody does to some degree, even me. But like, here's the scheduling link, pick a time from a faceless chatbot. So I love the idea of, oh, now I'm talking to Sandra down the street who works at the company that I'm calling.
That's right. And if you happen to be in a high rent district business now, and finding team members can be very challenging, that you're opening up your candidate pool. Now that you can do things virtually, if you have virtual salespeople, they can be in a lower cost state. Some of our home service companies have virtual assistants overseas that they pay a third of what they pay here. And it's good for after hours as well. So think of it that way. You're opening up your candidate pool for talent. And this allows for that. It's a platform and still delivers the human connection.
That I do like the idea of, because I'm sure you're well aware, like Google is now, especially with the local service ads, if you don't answer that call, if you don't give Google that feedback that like that call is answered and you're taking care of that person, they're not going to rank you as well. Whereas something like this would allow for those interactions to maintain to some degree.
That's right.
And yeah, review flow is another huge component of it. But the after hours component, I really like that, because a lot of plumbing companies out there like, yeah, we work 9 to 5 because we want to take care of our crew. The problem is your customers don't have problems 9 to 5. It's like they will call you when they have the problem or when they have the room to think about it again because it happened like yesterday or earlier during the day. So it's like 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. And for our clients that open up that window, we see their call volume go up significantly because they're opening themselves up to meet the market where the market's at. And so this is another solution that would allow that, but then it would tack on the humanity again, right? Even if it's an overseas person, you can find awesome overseas people like who can facilitate like, oh, hey, show me what it is. So that way the crew will analyze it first thing in the morning. We'll get back to you.
Right. And it allows that team work as well. Because if the crew sees the recording of what the salesperson is promising, they can tell, hey, salesperson, stop promising world peace. Like you're going to have to do that one. We're not doing that, So it allows that connection between the team. It also allows for training, allows you as the business owner to keep an eye on what's going on. Hey, stop swearing at the customers. It's not a good look. Like there's little things that's going to help you get visibility on your business of things you've never seen before. Or even when a team member comes across a new fill in the blank, that's like, oh, I haven't seen this unit before. Great. Let's take a video of it and let's tag it as training. That way we have it. It's also in the record. Let's say you lose a staff member and now you've got somebody who's going to this new customer. They've got all of the video of all the previous work. So we're not asking the customer, what did we do last time? Do you remember? I don't even remember what I had for breakfast. Don't ask the customer if they remember. They don't remember. And if they did, they probably can't explain it well either. That's a bad look.
Okay. So another use case would be, the guy who starts the company usually knows the most at first. And then he finds that he's stuck in the office doing paperwork and somebody has a problem and they need his expertise. I feel like every business goes through this phase, right? Of like, how do I get the knowledge out? There is the training aspect, but if it hasn't been documented, now you could send your tech, like if they're looking at something they've never seen before, you can be like, use this link. Cool. They're going to hop on the call. You're going to be able to direct them, tell them, okay, show me this, this, and this. It's all recorded, including your dialogue and the solution that you come up with. So then, bam, there's your training. You just got to make sure that it's accessible for the crew.
That's exactly right. And there's also a big element of covering your backside because the customer's holding their own phone. And let's say there's a bunch of marks all over the wall, right, that you see in the video. And you send your tech out there and then later the customer calls, your guy put a bunch of marks on my wall. I'm sure that's never happened to any of your listeners before.
No.
You're like, actually, let me check the instant replay. I think this is you holding your own phone on this date. And I see, those markings already there. That's not our guy. So maybe you just didn't notice before. Sorry about that, but it wasn't our company. We take pride in leaving things better than we found them.
So what are some of the weird use cases that you found people use this that surprised even you? Like, even if it's not plumbing, just, I think creativity is kind of like some of the fun you can have with a tool like this.
Oh yeah, and the industries that pop up. I literally just had a company that takes care of lice, like in your hair, lice 911. They're using it for remote helping parents with kids with lice in their hair. Yeah.
Oh,
I got a car wash company that just bought our stuff and put it up on property
oh,
for
that's awesome.
documenting damage. Like every week, something new I would have never thought of. Oh, I'm using this now for recruiting. What do you mean? Oh, I have people take a video of themselves for 3 minutes, asking a few questions. And if they pass that, then I'll do the interview because I don't want to do half an hour, hour long video interview with somebody if they can't even answer the first 3 questions right.
That's how I hire. I force people to do a video. And yes, this would make it faster and simpler than like, hey, upload your file from your phone to this thing versus just, hey, click this link. Here's the 3 questions, answer them, and then we'll decide whether or not we move forward.
Yeah.
That's
One of the cool things that we have is when you go to a website, right? You're used to chatting with the little chat bot or chatting with an individual or person. Now you can escalate that right to a video call right on your site. No more trying to go to a different application. You can literally have that human connection right on your site with your branding. It's convenient, it's fast. And so it's all of these things working together. I don't care if my customer gets a door hanger flyer and takes a video, scans a QR code on their water tank, comes in through my website. I don't care what device they're on. I just want to put my people in front of that and close the business quickly. Speed to lead is everything.
absolutely. Let's run through the live demo. Let's show how fast this can go, because that's a good segue into like, all right, let's just showcase this. Because when we did it before, I was impressed, like how fast this turned into a thing. All right, so James is going to use his platform.
Yep.
And
Here we go.
And then I will get a message on my phone.
Yep. Let me have your phone number.
All right, I'm gonna bleep this part out, but
all right.
Open
And I
up
hit. Okay, so what I did is I opened up a browser and I logged in and I put Tyler's phone number in and it sent him a text. It loads me up and it even puts a virtual background with my branding. And all that Tyler is doing is tapping on the text. It launches a browser. He hits yes, and we're connected. And I see him.
There we go. So I'm already connected, and granted, like this kind of like a little bit of a weird use case, but like I instantly, like, it took 2 taps. It took tapping on the notification for the message, and then it took one to say, yes, you can use my phone, which everybody's accustomed to. I'm not worried about that friction. Like, that's normal, that's natural. The ability now is I'm seeing James and I'm seeing myself, but then I can swap this camera around and just immediately show James whatever I want him to see, which at this moment is my somewhat messy desk. So, but that was fast, because the other thing that we have going on right now is a full-on conversation. Like, I'm like,
yeah.
we are able to communicate as if it were a live call or pretty darn close to in person. That's slick. All right.
All right, we'll end that and stop. Yeah, that's the whole piece. If it's
That's
easy,
great.
it gets used. That's just what it comes down to. If it was complicated, it won't get used. It's a great idea, but it's not practical, and it doesn't really solve business problems.
So, okay. If people want to, well, are there any other like use cases or things you think we should cover with it?
No, that's enough for today. But if you want more, I've got more, and you can just reach out to me or one of my team members, and we're going to walk you through it. You got to touch it. The magic is touching it. Like Tyler just got to touch it. When he touched it, it's like, oh, I got it. This is I see exactly how to use this.
So, in like, I see this as like, I'm even thinking about, okay, how could my business use it, like, in order to serve clients better, right? Like, there's a lot of use cases, but I definitely am thinking about like the people who miss calls, or the people who are having a really hard time closing, or or they don't quite know how their team is selling in the field, things like that. And I see that as a bonus case, but I'm also going like, there's a marketing component here that would make my job much easier, which is a lot around getting live testimonials and photos of the crew doing things, of even video of the owner talking about like how they want to serve customers, like just documenting something really, really fast in order to be able to have those resources. Send it to your marketing agency. Like, it helps level everything up. And then, of course, think about the word of mouth that would tack on to the back end of this. Like, oh my God, I called this plumbing company. They started a video chat. I showed them what it was. They came out like there were no questions. They had everything they needed. The customer feels so cared for along that pathway, which then turns into better reviews, better word of mouth, more calls, more opportunities to grow the business. So that's the loop that really, really good customer service creates. And this is just another tool to help amplify the customer service aspect in a big way. So I love it. It's cool. It's got a whole lot. And I feel like there's probably a bunch of hidden areas that it could be used. So where I'm like, oh, there's this use case, that use case. So it's really, really slick. Okay. So if somebody wants to find, the platform's called LiveSwitch, but if somebody wants to find out about it, what's their best sort of like pathway to either reach you or the team and go and give it a shot themselves?
Just go to liveswitch.com, liveswitch.com, click book a demo. And when it says comments, say, I want to talk to James. I want James. And then you'll come right to me. And I love being on with the business owners and with the future users, and we can talk through all the different fun stuff. And no need to get overwhelmed. Everybody crawls, then they walk, then they run. You're just going to find one or two things to start with, implement into your business. And then we have an entire team here that's dedicated to helping you. And they do the training for you. There's no extra cost for that. They're here to tell, hey, here's what we're hearing. Here's how other plumbers are using the technology, and continue to give you more and more ways to squeeze all the value out.
Yeah, that's smart. Start easy and then add complexity as you go. So,
that's right.
Awesome. Thanks for showing me around this and taking the time to do this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
All right, so that was LiveSwitch. I highly recommend that you go and you check them out and you kind of get an idea of what this is for you. There's a lot of different applications for it. Some might seem really simple and easy and, oh yeah, that's a no duh, right? Others might take some creativity on how you're going to implement and whether or not that it's actually solving a need for your client. But overall, like, this has me thinking about my own business, which is very human based, very like we talk to clients all the time. Wouldn't it be cool if we could just say, hey man, here's the link, poof, you're in it. And so we're thinking about that in regards to us, which is why I wanted to take him up on this offer to just have him on the podcast. Anyway, you have a good one. If you want to find out more about LiveSwitch, go to liveswitch.com. If you want to find out more about Mammoth Marketing, me, you can go to tylerwilliams.net or Mammoth Marketing. We do lots of stuff there. Anyway, hope you found it useful. You take care.
Want to grow your business? Here's the plan. Go to tylerwilliams.net and be the talk of the land. Now let me tell you the epic tale of how Tyler Williams became the marketing man. His story begins when he was just a year-old lad. His mother needed a plumber, but the ads were so bad. The house flooded and sank, and Tyler was mad. Swallowed by the earth, into the abyss they fell. He blamed the bad marketing that led them to this hell. At 1 year old, he vowed to the stars above. He harnessed marketing power and did plumbers some love. He's Tyler Williams, the marketing baby. From tragedy he rose to bring plumbers joy. With a vow to the stars and a plan in his hand, he's the one who'll save them, the marketing baby. Years later, he set out on a quest to find ancient secrets that would make him the best. He tamed Mark the Mammoth and rode the wilderness vast, fighting bland campaigns, leaving them in the past. In a glowing cave with light so bright, he found a dead wizard clutching tablets of might. For 30 long years, he studied those stones, deciphering marketing secrets that shook him to his bones. He's Tyler Williams, the marketing boy, imbued with power, turning pain into joy. years later, he emerged from the cave, riding Mark the Mammoth, a legend so brave. Back to Alaska, with tablets in tow, he chiseled new ads, ready to make them glow. His campaigns were epic, like discovering fire. Plumbers would soar, lifting ever higher. He hit the launch button, the world wasn't prepared. Neighborhoods flooded with jokes, as Tyler declared. After 40 long years of learning marketing power, the baby became a boy, the boy became a man. And now Tyler Williams finally became the fabled marketing man. He's Tyler Williams, the marketing man, bringing plumbers out of the Stone Age as fast as he can. With jokes and memes, he blankets the land. Soccer moms swoon, it's all part of the plan. Now Tyler roams the world with boldness and might, crafting campaigns that set everything right. He's bald, bearded, with glasses in place, laughs at his jokes, but they're never out of place. With a smile and a wink, he launches the show. His ads are dumb, but they make plumbers grow. He's the marketing man, with campaigns so grand, bringing plumbers out of the Stone Age as he planned.